Hey, my friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 2 of my Frugally vegan journey. So, as many of you may know, I am moving in direction of becoming whole food plant based in my eating because I want to get down from my starting weight of 235 pounds to my goal weight of 175 pounds. And I also want to reverse my type 2 diabetes. However, I am challenged by the fact that you may also know I am still job hunting. So I can't afford to just start a completely different way of eating and throw out the food I already have in my house. So I am leaning in the direction of vegan, whole food, plant-based with the hopes of by my birthday or May 10th being 100% or at least 95% whole food, plant-based in my eating. So that's going to be a challenge because, like I said, I'm having to learn how to budget and shop uh, for reduced priced fruits and veggies or stuff on clearance, and then cook those things for the week. At the moment, I'm trying to find small ways to incorporate uh, the whole food plant-based eating into my current diet. So what that means for me is finding ways to make meals that are centered around beans or lentils and some whole grains and a lot of veggies, whether they're starchy or non-starchy. Right now, I'm just trying to get into the habit of changing my taste buds to enjoy beans, beans, beans. So my challenge right now is to find as many ways as I can to add into my diet uh, more fiber-rich foods. So I'm increasing the amount of beans I'm eating. I'm increasing the amount of lentils and whole grains, buckwheat, and finding creative ways to mix fruit with chia seeds so that I can make something that feels like it's a dessert, but also giving me the healthy qualities of fruit. So I'll just show you, like here, I went to the store and I got some strawberries that were on sale. And this is my second batch. The first batch, I just took the the large container of strawberries that you get, mashed them up, warmed them, over the stove until it started to boil, and then added in a cup of chia seeds. And that, then when it cooled, I put it in a jar like this, and I didn't have to add any sugar, and it kind of was my version of like strawberry preserves. So I just ate it like this, put it in a little bowl, added some nuts to it, and it felt like I was giving myself a treat. And then I did a second version with just using a container of the strawberries, and I took the immersion thing and blended it down to more of just a liquid version, where the first one was a little bit chunkier because I mashed it up and then boiled it so it felt like a preserve. This one, I just wanted to be different, so I tried to blend it as much as possible into a liquid, and then didn't have to wait for it to cool. I put it into the jar after I mixed it in the bowl with a cup of chia seeds, and that combination swelled up into this. and it tastes just as delicious. It's not as sweet as when I warmed up the strawberries. I'm not sure why. Maybe that batch was a sweeter batch of strawberries. But when I cooked it, it just tasted sweeter to me. But either version, it helps me get strawberries into my diet. It also helps me increase the amount of fiber that I have in my diet by adding the chia seeds in it that are really good for your system. So I like having these on hand, and it can stay in your fridge for I think about a week, but you want to eat it when it's as fresh as possible. Another thing that I did, which I haven't figured out how I'm going to use it, but at the Middle Eastern store that I shop at, they had almond meal, and they also had whole raw almonds. So I decided to make my own almond butter, like this, and all you had to do literally was, either get a food processor or a blender. I used a blender, and like I found a recipe, and all they said was to you could take the whole almonds, put it on a sheet and roast it in your oven, and then blend it in your blender or your food processor until it slowly becomes a paste. I did a kind of combination, my own version, because I had the almond meal. I took the 2 containers of almond meal, put it, I think they were about a pint each. I put those in my blender, and I had raw almonds because I like to buy the almonds raw. And I added them in. I didn't bother to roast them. And then I started to blend them. Now, it took a while of kind of doing that pulsing thing to kind of get it to start to come together from the powdery form or the crushed, a mixture of the powdery form of meal, almond meal, and the whole raw almonds into the little crumbling nuts. You know what I'm saying? It took a little while, but they had a suggestion that you can add like a little coconut oil to it to kind of help it get to a smoother texture. So since I love coconut oil and I have to work through the coconut oil that I have, I added that to it, and it really just sped up the process. But it is a bit of a pain doing it because it takes a while to get to that stage. But like I said, it was able to make, I don't know, you see this almond butter. And it's an interesting taste. I love almonds, so I'm going to try and find a way to incorporate that into some meals that I cook with, so that I have a good source of vitamins from the almond butter. I'm just trying to create little batches of food that I can combine with other foods that I have to make interesting, entertaining meals for myself that are keeping me moving in the direction of the whole food plant-based. Eventually, I want to figure out how to make this without using the coconut oil, but for now, I'm using the coconut. I have like 2 jars of coconut oil and a bottle of virgin olive oil. So I'm going to find ways to incorporate them into healthy meals until I run out, and then eventually I will start cooking without them. But I need to be frugal, so I got to work with what I have, and then eventually by my birthday, hopefully I will have adjusted to eating without using oil, which is going to be a challenge because I realized I do a lot of frying. So my biggest challenge over this period of time is finding ways to replace my cooking with oil. However, I think I am going to be successful, but I'm not going to push myself because I want to make this process as easy and as effortless and natural as possible. Because the thing that I am getting out of this experience that is uh, the most beneficial is I am learning to recognize my unhealthy relationship with food and moving slowly into this whole food plant-based eating is giving me the time to kind of address that and learn how to, one, love cooking with beans and nuts and different types of vegetables, and finding spices that'll help make it flavorful without using a lot of salt or using any kind of store-bought seasoning that may have things in them that I don't know anything about. I'm using fresh spices, grinding them on my own, and trying to deal with the individual spice and mixing them, together on my own, And even I've gotten like the pepper, for black pepper, I have the peppercorns and I have this mortar and pedestal or whatever they call it, and I'm gonna start working to get my black pepper that way because I've just finished up the last bit of my already ground black pepper, so I'm really just finding ways to experiment and get my taste buds adjusted to it. For me, it seems like it's a cop-out, my gradually moving into the whole food plant-based way of eating, but for me, I think it's the smartest way I could go because I don't have to feel guilty about not throwing out the foods that I have, but also it takes some time to get used to eating with dried and fresh herbs and spices. Like for that Middle Eastern store, I think I've shown it in a prior video, I got some Spanish thyme that's dried. I got cacao. I picked up tarragon, which I haven't played with yet, some dried rosemary, some dried oregano, and I'm trying to incorporate those things into a meal to give the food's flavor. But I haven't quite hit that place yet where I feel like my taste buds are kind of waking up. It feels kind of like, all right, I'm tasting the thyme and oregano, but it has this kind of dry taste. So I haven't quite figured those things out, but that's part of the journey, part of the fun of it for me, is playing with the food in ways that make it as healthy as possible. So we'll see how that goes. I'll let you know as things progress. For now, like I said, I am trying to learn as much as I can by watching different YouTube videos, because ironically, I feel like I'm learning more from watching these videos and the books that I picked up than by going to my doctor. Though, as I told you before, I had to not renew my medical insurance, so that's another reason why I'm trying my best to eat as healthily as possible, so that hopefully by next year, in enrollment period, I will have a job that will allow me to be able to afford health insurance. But I got to be realistic. I don't have the money for it, so I need to make up for it by educating myself on my health and taking my health into my own hands without going overboard. So I'm really trying to just eat as healthily as possible for this year, and hopefully, once I get a job, I'll be able to consult my doctor. So I'm not telling anybody not to consult their doctor. I'm just letting you know that's where I am. So I'm being realistic that I have to, without having a doctor to go to, I need to really make smart choices, which is also why I'm trying to make this whole experience something that's fun for me to do so that I stay with it and I find new and interesting ways to incorporate fruits and vegetables that are going to help me get into the best shape of my life and also help me to reverse my type 2 diabetes and get down to the 175 pounds. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you that I'm doing is learning to start planning my meals ahead of time to a certain degree, to remind myself to eat the beans and eat more whole grains. Right now, like I have a shelf full of different types of beans. I have lentils, I have pinto beans, I have garbanzo beans or chana, chickpeas. I have brown, red, and orange lentils. I have green peas, like split peas, and orange split peas. I have, what else? I have quinoa, white quinoa, I guess the light brown quinoa and red quinoa, and the kind of mixture. I have brown rice, and I have buckwheat, and I'm trying to find different ways to incorporate those meals, those food groups into my meals at varying times. Right now, I'm focusing on lentils because I have a ton of lentils, and I'm also trying to get into the habit of soaking my beans and lentils overnight, which is supposed to help remove some toxins that may be in the dried form. And what I'm discovering is just how much food comes from, I'm eating in a day. So, like with this, I had some lentils, and I just put in a cup of dried lentils, which was at the bottom. And by the time it soaked the next morning, it filled up almost to the top of it. And I decided I don't necessarily have to eat the entire jar worth of beans in one day. But I took out what I needed for the meal, and then I put the rest in the fridge, and I'm going to use the rest of this tonight. And I did the same thing with buckwheat. So I'm trying to incorporate buckwheat, which I don't think it's a grain. I think I heard somewhere that it's like an evergreen or like a herb, not an herb. I'll have to find that out. But it's not a grain. It's some other form. But buckwheat is supposed to be very good for you. So I took a dried cup of it, put it in the jar, filled it up, and it swelled up to the top of the container. And I used as much of this with the lentils, and I made a little mini curry from that by chopping up some garlic, chopping up some ginger, chopping up some fresh turmeric, adding some pepper, black pepper to it to help with the turmeric, because turmeric supplies your body with curcumin, and that is really good for inflammation. But in order for your body to absorb the curcumin from the turmeric, you need to let the turmeric interact with black pepper or pepperine from the black pepper. So you always want to, whenever you have turmeric, you want to mix in some black pepper. You can also use some coconut oil as well, because the coconut oil is supposed to help the black pepper and the turmeric combination uh, work through your um, body cell walls to get to your liver, where it will help with stimulating the removal of fat in your liver, and also helps with inflammation. The coconut oil is supposed to help, move it through your body more effectively, but you need to have the black pepper with the turmeric regardless. So if you're eventually not going to be using oil in your diet, you want to just make sure you have the black pepper and the turmeric together, whether it's the turmeric in the powdered form or you take the fresh turmeric. You always want to mix it with black pepper. Okay, so I got a little off on that. But generally, like I said, I'm trying to make meals that are simple like that, but also meals that are helping me to heal my liver. Because as I've been doing research, I've found that if you're putting on a lot of visceral fat around your belly, that is basically a guarantee that your liver is not functioning as well, and you have some degree of fatty liver going on in your body. And you want to get rid of the fatty liver. The good thing about the liver is that I believe it's the one organ that can regenerate itself. So what you want to do is eat as many spices or foods that help the liver repair itself. Because I was watching a YouTube clip on the liver last night, and they were talking about how when you reach the age of 60, which I will on May 10th, your body starts to lose like a little over 30% of its, functioning. So you want to reverse that, because it is reversible, because it's not happening because you've reached a certain age. It's because our way of eating is such that by the time you've reached your 60s, the amount of processed foods and unhealthy eating habits have put such a strain on the liver that by the time you get to 60, it's just starting to conk out. So the best thing we can do, if you haven't started earlier, is to really incorporate foods like ginger, turmeric, nutmeg, cinnamon, milk thistle. These are different herbs and spices that help with your liver function. Now, I'm not an expert, and I'm trying to take these things and incorporate them into my living and health. But if you're on any kind of medications at all, make sure you check with your doctor before you add any of these things, because they may interfere with any kind of medication you're taking. So again, I am not a medical professional, but I'm also not taking any kind of medication. So I am making the choice to use these herbs and spices to see what they can do to improve my liver function. And since I don't have a doctor to go to run any tests on my liver, I'll be basing the success on that on how I'm feeling in terms of my degree of sluggishness, how much of the visceral fat over time I'm able to lose. Because if you're not losing weight and you're continuing to put on weight, again, that's a sign you have some issues with your liver. So if I'm incorporating these herbs and spices into my diet, slowly over time, hopefully I will start to see the results in the reduction of the pregnant looking belly fat or visceral fat. So that's my game plan, is to incorporate, especially during this period of time when I'm moving towards the whole food plant-based way of eating. I'm trying to really up the fiber intake, up the bean intake, up the spices that are healthy for my liver into my meals, so that I'm really helping counter the processed foods or the meats that I'm still eating, or the eggs, butter, etc., oils that I'm working through, to kind of counter that as I'm eating them, because, like I said, I got to do this frugally, so I got to work with what I have. So I want to lean in to eating more of these healthy herbs and spices and fruits and vegetables that are really good for my liver, because that's like the key, as far as I'm concerned, into losing the weight and getting as healthy as I can. Now, what else? Now, the other thing that I've had to adjust to is my eating window. So I've been watching a lot of videos on intermittent fasting and on OMAD, which is like, I think, one meal a day. I'm not there yet. Right now I'm at intermittent fasting, where I'm eating between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. Like what most people do is an eating window of 8 hours of eating and 16 hours of fasting. So that gives you a good amount of time for whatever food you've eaten to digest. What I'm trying to do is I think it's more of a whatever 18:6 ratio, where I eat between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. because I've learned from videos that I've been watching that you want to give your body as much time to digest the food, and an extended period of time of not eating, so that it can digest the food and it can start doing repairs. So you want to stop eating by 7 p.m. because of something called the circadian rhythm that your body kind of works with the sun and the moon, that affects things going on in your body, so that you want to have at least 3 to 4 hours from your last meal to before you go to sleep, so that your body has digested whatever you've eaten and it doesn't interfere with different functions that go into your body when you're sleeping. Because when you're sleeping, which is why they encourage you to get as much sleep as you can, between 7 and 9 hours, because while you're sleeping, that's when your body is naturally repairing itself. And from what I was watching this week, your body between 11 and I believe 3 a.m., your liver is doing its repair work. So you want to make sure that there's no food being digested that disrupts that period of time when your liver is doing its cleanse. So I've been stopping my eating at 7 p.m. and the only thing that I touch after 7 p.m. is either water, green tea, or black coffee. Now, I don't do black coffee too late at night because it's a stimulant and can keep you up. But those three drinks don't break you from your fast, so you have those three options. I usually I've been trying to go into drinking just water and water with some lemon in it, and uh, avoid the green tea and black coffee because they have stimulants that can keep you up. Occasionally, I do the green tea in the evening if I'm feeling nervous that I'm getting a craving. And that was the other thing, is that you want to make sure during your eating window that you eat as much fiber as you can, especially as you get towards the end of your eating window. So I want to make sure by 5 or 6, I'm making sure that I have a meal that's full of fiber so that it will keep me full uh, during that time before I go to sleep, and then it'll digest what's in my stomach before I go to sleep, but I won't be craving anything because sometimes people make the mistake when they're trying to go whole food plant based to eat a lot of salads and uh, fruit. It's something that's light, and they may eat, say, their last meal at 6, and by 7 o'clock they're starving. And I have found when I've done that at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night, I am overwhelmed by a desire to eat something, and I'll find that I reach for something, and it may be something healthy like, walnuts or almonds, or, some of like the strawberries that I made with the chia seeds. Even though those are healthy, they're still interfering with my body's period of rest that it needs in order to do its healing. So the thing that I noticed, which I'm really trying to incorporate, is the stopping eating anything by 7 p.m. because whenever I did eat something after 7 p.m., when I weighed myself in the morning, the first, as soon as I got up, I always put on weight. But if I was able to get through the evening and get to bed without eating anything, I lost some amount of weight. Now, the good thing is, for this period of time that I've been doing it, I started at 235, and now I'm like at 219.5. So I'm about 15 and a half pounds, lost. And I want to stay that way. But it's been an up and down thing because it's been an adjustment eating enough fiber in my meals to feel full enough not to give in to a temptation to eat some sort of junk food or chip or anything after 7 p.m. That has been my challenge, which is why I feel I haven't lost more than the 15 and a half pounds, because it's been an up and down journey. But, and this goes back to what I was saying before, I feel like this is the best process for me because it's like my life is my health experiment. And I'm learning through the experience of eating after 7 that I wake up and I see the weight that I lost, I put back on. And I get pissed. So getting pissed enough times, I am developing the discipline to stop at 7 p.m. But it also reminds me I need to make sure that when I'm doing things in my day, that I make time in that eating window of 1 to 7 to get in enough fiber-rich, protein-rich foods so that I can make it through the evening. Because sometimes it's not that I'm just being lazy or forgetting to eat a lot of fiber. Sometimes I just get wrapped up in my day and realize, oh my God, I've been doing so many applications on my computer that the day has passed by, and then suddenly it's like, oh, it's already 7 o'clock and I haven't eaten anything the entire day. Now, that makes from 7 o'clock until 11, a struggle to get through without eating something. So those have been part of the mix of days where I just worked through applying for jobs or going and drop off my resume somewhere and I forget to eat. So all of this is me helping to reconnect myself with my relationship with food. So I feel like I'm in a good place. I have a few weeks left in March, and then I'll be moving into April, and then, gosh, May 10th will be here soon. 60, I never imagined myself at 60 or what that looks like. I had dreams of going to Paris for my 60th birthday. Unfortunately, the way life has worked, I had to spend that time looking for a job, and so I am, instead of going into my 60th year traveling the world, which, let's be honest, with the way things are right now, I don't want to leave this country because I don't think Americans are really well liked around the world right now for obvious reasons. But I am trying to make lemonade out of lemons and moving into my 60th year in as healthy a place as possible. I know I won't necessarily reverse my type 2 diabetes by my birthday, but I will be well on my way to being as healthy as possible. And this period of time right now is for me giving myself a reset on my life in all areas. And this area that I'm talking about right now is on my health and my mental well-being that's coming from eating healthier, but also has to do with my shaving the hair off. I was going through a period where I wanted to grow my hair out, but, and I don't think I mentioned this in another video, I learned that a lot of Ayurvedic herbs and powders that people use to grow in their hair also is used for blood sugar maintenance and for diabetes control. So I am planning, even though I've gotten a lot of great compliments for shaving my hair, it feels like I look a lot younger than 60. I am putting off my hair regrowth challenge for myself, and I'll still be doing massages to make sure that I'm getting blood circulating through my scalp. But my challenge right now is with my health to lose the weight and to reverse the type 2 diabetes through my diet and through exercising. So I'm going to start incorporating some yoga into my plan as well. But once I'm able to reverse the type 2 diabetes, which I know I can through diet and exercise, once I do that, then I will revisit looking at the hair, because I believe if the herbs that I'm using to help with the regrowth of your hair also affects your blood sugar, then perhaps the not growing in areas of baldness may work better once I've reversed the type 2 diabetes. Because I was watching again on YouTube, and I will either prove these experts on YouTube right or wrong, but I've heard that recently they've said that when your hair falls out in the balding areas, it's not that the hair follicle is dead, it's just dormant. So I want to put to the test, and if I'm wrong, that's fine. But I'm going to put to the test if I'm able to reverse it, when I'm able to reverse the type 2 diabetes. Let's see if that has any impact on the hair follicles, because they will not be being attacked by the sugar-related issues that cause the hair loss in the first place, if there's a connection with diabetes, blood sugar, and hair issues. I think there is, so I'm going to wait, and for now I will enjoy this bald look and look at my challenge of growing my hair longer again at a later date. But for right now, I'm trying to learn to live my best life and take whatever adversity is coming my way and make it into something positive. And as my Buddhist practice encourages me to focus on creating happiness, genuine happiness for myself and for others, and learning to develop a never give up spirit to whatever it is I'm doing. So that's where I am going to leave it for now. Thank you for sticking with me for this frugally vegan journey I am on, and I hope some of the things I've shared has been of interest to you, and that I will see you again soon. I will be, just so you know, going to the protests, the No Kings, No Wars, No ICE march and rally that they'll be having here in LA on March 28th, and I will try and get some video shorts to put up on my channel, because my channel has a mixture of things all about learning to live your best life. And believe me, for me, standing up for what I believe in is a huge part of living my best life. So hopefully I will see some of you at the rally in March here in Los Angeles, or wherever you are in the country or the world. Get involved in these protest rallies so that the government knows we are holding them accountable, and that we need to make some changes so that we all can live our best lives and not have to deal with people trying to kick down our doors or the doors of our neighbors. This is the time for us to show who we are, show what our character is, and stand up for what's right. So I try not to be a political person, but I just felt I needed to add that in. All right, I will see you guys soon. Have a wonderful week, and till next time, besos.